In the city of Gobo, in Wakayama, there's an old fairy tale about a little low-born girl who grew up to be empress. It's a nice story, and it's not necessarily impossible for it to be true. It is, however, very unlikely, and if it were true, it would saddle the story's happy ending with a depressing epilogue. So maybe it's for the best that the fable of Princess Miyako is just that. The fairy tales and imperial court histories agree on some key points about Princess Miyako. Miyako was born a commoner. She was the daughter of Fujiwara no Fuhito, an influential member of the emperor's court. She married Emperor Monmu, and in the year 701, she gave birth to the future Emperor Shomu. The fairy tales of Gobo claim, unsurprisingly, that Miyako was born in Gobo. Miyako's mother was a pearl diver, and she and her husband had been trying unsuccessfully for a child. Both husband and wife were already 40 years old, and so the couple offered up prayers at their local Shinto shrine. Eventually, they were blessed with a daughter. They named her Miya, after one of the characters in the name of the shrine. Miyako was a normal child in every way but one. She was completely bald. This was over 1,000 years before Sinead O'Connor was born, so her parents were understandably aggrieved. And that wasn't the only problem. For the past year, the fishermen had suffered from very poor catches, and the village was on the verge of starvation. Miyako's mother reasoned that a sacrifice might bring fortune back to the waters, and so she cast herself into the bay. As she sank to the bottom, she noticed a small, glowing figure on the ocean floor. It was a small Buddhist icon. Reinvigorated, she retrieved the icon and brought it back to the water's edge. She enshrined it near their home and prayed daily for relief. After a few days, not only had fish returned to the waters, but hairs began to sprout from Miyako's head. They rapidly lengthened out into a long, lustrous mane. Miyako now found that much of her time was consumed with hair care. Under the advice of her mother, she could never cut her hair, as each and every strand was a gift from the Buddha. This extended to any hairs that became snagged in her comb. Those she tied around a branch in the garden. After a few years, Miyako's hair was longer than she was tall. One day, a sparrow alighted in the garden and made off with one of Miyako's miraculously long hairs. It took the strand all the way back to its nest, in the eaves of the house of Fujiwara no Fuhito. Fuhito found the hair instantly mystifying and ordered a vast search for the owner of the strand of hair. This must have been a massive undertaking and required a lot of manpower, but the story just brushes over all of that and lets us know that he found Miyako and adopted her. As Fuhito was a powerful man, he arranged for his daughter to marry the emperor, Monmu. After their wedding, Miyako told her husband that she wished to build a temple for the icon to which her mother had prayed. So the emperor commissioned the Buddhist temple Dojoji in his wife's home village. Miyako and Monmu's son, Shomu, was a great proponent of Buddhism within Japan. What a nice story. It's all downhill from here. An alternate tale claims that the Emperor Monmu was passing through Gobo on an imperial visit when he was struck by Miyako's beauty and wanted to claim her as his wife. The emperor could not marry a commoner, so he arranged for his courtier, Fuhito, to adopt her. Her parents probably didn't have much say in the matter. Now we come to the historical Princess Miyako, at least as historical as anyone else from the 8th century. Miyako was the natural-born daughter of Fujiwara no Fuhito. Through his close relationship with the imperial family, Fuhito managed to appoint his 20-year-old daughter as one of the emperor's 3 consorts. After Miyako bore the emperor a son, she became Emperor Monmu's sole wife. Soon after giving birth, however, Miyako was beset by a debilitating sickness. It's hard to discern exactly what she was stricken with, since we're working with 1,200-year-old records of 8th century medical diagnoses, but it seems like it was a kind of mental illness. She could accomplish basic tasks required of the Empress, but she was unable to talk to or even meet with her son. The court hired several physicians and priests to heal the Empress, but again, 8th century medicine. It was 36 years before Miyako managed to greet her son face to face, a period during which both her father and husband had died. After her son retired to become a monk, she lived for a few years into the reign of her granddaughter before dying around the age of 70. At least there was something of a happy ending there. Let's ruin it completely. It wouldn't be a story about Japanese royalty if we didn't get into the inbreeding. Miyako's son became engaged to her half-sister, his half-aunt, which by the standards of imperial incest is honestly not even that bad. However, throughout the Middle Ages there was a persistent rumor that Miyako's father, Fuhito, was an unacknowledged bastard child of Emperor Tenji, Monmu's grandfather. If that were true, Monmu and Miyako were both grandchildren of the same man, albeit thankfully by different grandmothers. Which would mean Miyako's son married not only his aunt, but his cousin as well. So I think we just cracked the mystery of what happened to Princess Miyako. It's a miracle she didn't go mad sooner.